All of you installers out there, whether you're a home installer or a professional installer, this is the dry start of the water-on-water reverse osmosis system for the home. By the way, I want everyone to note that this is made in America. Okay, what we've done here is we've unpacked the unit. It's sitting here. The manifold and the tank is pre-assembled at the factory. We have our 3 cartridges that will be inserted in their respective receptacles here into the manifold. One thing I want to point out is prior to doing anything, we must remove the shipping plugs. These little black plugs, you push in on the collet and then you grab the little black plug and you remove them. They are not to be used on normal conditions, okay? Now, we've also got off the tip of our faucet here on this particular kitchen sink, an adapter that runs line pressure off the tip of the faucet, and we can pre-charge the machine, of which we're going to do. We're going to set up and pre-charge the system, getting it ready for our under-the-counter installation. So as the system is being pre-charged, we're going to complete our installation of the dedicated faucet at the kitchen sink, like by drilling a hole through the sink and then mounting the faucet, mounting the feed water tap underneath at the cold water stopcock, and then of course the drain connection. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start by pre-filling, and this is, I've got to say that this is almost required for a really quick start. We're going to take some bottled water that we got at the local market. By the way, this is reverse osmosis water. You can do this with tap water as well, as long as it's on a microbiologically safe public supply. And we're going to pre-load our cartridges here with some water. So we're going to just remove the dust covers, which I just did. Those are the red caps. And we're going to preload the filters with our water here. We got a little spillage on the counter. And we got some bubbling, gurgling up through the cartridge as we fill it up. This really helps in expediting the startup by pre-charging these canisters here, or the cartridges. And this whole process will take about 12 to 14 minutes to get the system charged. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these cartridges that, again, have been pre-charged, preloaded with water. We're going to, in this case here, the red cartridge is the pre-filter, and we're going to, with an upward motion, counterclockwise twist, and insert it in. And there's there's 2 clicks to get it in. Okay, you make sure that it goes in all of the way. You might have to back it out and redo it once or twice. So we've got the green labeled unit, which is the reverse osmosis membrane, goes into the RO receptacle. Look at the numbers here on the top of the manifold. This one here is the post filter, so it's red, green, and blue. Okay. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to take the tip, these 2 fittings here, the black line here is our feed line, and we're going to insert it into our F port, which is the regulator. We're just going to shove it in all the way home. We're going to take the clear line, which is the waste line, off that particular diverter valve. Okay, so our connections are made. I'm also going to do something with the gauge here. And I'm going to apply a gauge to the PW port here. That's the P or Paul William port. And I'm going to grab the plug, push in the collet, pull that plug out. And I've got a little gauge here all preset. You can buy these at wowwater.com. And that is our website. And I'm going to push that guy in there, and we're going to watch that gauge. Let's see here. I also have a pre-charge hose set up that is going to simulate a faucet. And so we have a ball valve at one end, which I'm just going to dangle off into the kitchen sink. And I have a gauge and a street elbow. I'm sorry, yes, a street elbow setup. And I'm going to remove my FA2 pin, which is the small 1/4 inch pin, and I'm going to put this elbow in there. So now I have 2 gauges. And what we're going to do here is we're going to simulate a dry start. Actually, we're going to perform a dry start, and we're going to watch the gauges. The gauges will tell us a lot. If you're an installer out there, if you have a set of gauges, which all of you should, if you're doing a multiple of installations, because you can diagnose the hydraulics of the system by using the gauges. So I believe we are ready to go here. Let me do a little housekeeping here, dry up some water. And this way my surface is clean, just in case anything's dripping here. If there's a factory defect, highly unlikely, we would see some puddling here coming from the system. So I'm going to turn on my cold water supply. There's my cold water supply. And I got a little air in the line coming in from our hose. Clear that. And I'm going to divert the flow to the system. I'm going to turn off my simulated faucet. So the faucet would have to be turned off when doing this, when starting the system up. Okay, so turn the faucet off. And what we're doing here is we have water rushing into the system. Let me take a peek. I'm going to turn the gauges around. I'm going to take a, yeah. We have pressure building up inside the system here. I don't know if we can see these gauges here. I think we've got a camera angle on it. And so pressure is building up in these 2 gauges right now. And right now, water is coming in through our regulator. It's going in over to our RF port, regulated feed, and it's dropping into the manifold, goes through the pre-filter. The water is headed over to the RO membrane. It goes up through the manifold, and it starts energizing our control module. By the way, the control module / control valve has 1 moving part in the entire system. So all we're doing is we're building up a little bit of pressure over here on our post side, and it's being witnessed by pressure here on these gauges right now. That's going to apply pressure to this 1 moving part, this piston inside this control module. It's going to move that control module and shift it into a water makeup. And what we will notice here in just a few minutes here, yep, is the shift. And we're going to notice that the waistline is going to open. Okay, we're going to expedite that by applying or opening up the faucet. We're going to get a bunch of air and water out of here. There it is, a lot of air. Okay. I hear water rushing back in through here. Got pressure. We're going to see pressure continue to build up along these lines. And here we go. We got pressure building up. Any second now, the waistline is going to open up. We're going to have pressure and air coming out of the waist side of this diverter valve. And that is telling us that the valve is starting to shift. And it's pure water that is starting to move that control valve into a, oh, I felt it. And any second here. A few more pounds of pressure climbing. Just got to be patient. Don't turn off any other valves or open up any other valves. Just let it do its thing. By the way, when dispensing out of the faucet, the waistline closes, which allows this system to push a very, very long distance. That's 100% of the, whoa, there we go. The valve's starting to open up. 100% of the energy will push water. This unit here, we've seen this machine push 200 feet across a warehouse to feed an auxiliary cooler. So we've got some action over here where the waistline is opened up. Got a little bit of air combination. We're burping the tank right now. We're getting the air out of both sides of the storage bladder that is inside this sealed tank here. Okay, because we have that kind of movement, I'm going to actuate the faucet one more time. We're going to get some more air. Yeah. And we got some water out of there as well. Okay. So with by preloading these cartridges, we are expediting this whole process here and allowing the system to, it usually sets up and goes to atmosphere, and the burping process will take anywhere between 12 and 14 minutes. Okay, what's our gauge doing? Yep, we're right up to 50 pounds here. It's gonna open, there it goes. Now when that guy, whoop, there it is. We now have 0 back pressure against the membrane. The product water from the membrane has a clear shot to the inside of the storage bladder, and that water is dripping into the bladder, and it's displacing the water that would normally be used to squeeze the bladder. So we are in high-speed production right now. This is absolutely perfect. The machine is in full operation, and I don't know what the time is on that, but I think it's close to 12 to 13 minutes. Okay, that's it for now, folks. Look forward to the next time we see each other with the next round of videos for the water-on-water home reverse osmosis unit. Thank you.